You know, trolling has got to be one of the oldest forms of presentation or boat control. I mean, because they didn't have modern rods and reels and stuff like that. They would put a line on a stick and move along. And in more modern times, contour trolling, well, Al, why don't you tell them about the history of contour trolling?
The granddaddy of this concept was basically Buck Perry and his concept of spoon plugging and contour trolling. He was the one that originated the initial concept, way, way, way ahead of his time. I mean, we didn't have depth finder. Well, they were just coming out of the scene when he was bringing the concept of contour trolling and spoon plugging and home of the fish in deep water, way, way, way ahead of the game. But that's where it started.
There we go.
Got him?
Yep.
Aha.
You know
Aha.
it. If I had to guess, it's a big golden walleye. Nice and easy.
That's a big walleye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See the white tail? Oh, there.
Oh yeah, nice one.
There she comes. Oh, look at that.
Well, that's a nice one. Look like another one with it.
You know what the...
I think I've seen another one down there
Oh,
with
really?
it. All right. Come here, baby.
My confidence is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You catch a fish on a new bait, all that good stuff, even though it's in the same family of bait.
Oh, yeah.
Nice first fish of the morning, Dano. Nice way to start. I've been marking them back down there. I'm marking them in about 15 to 18.
I knew that was a big walleye. You could feel that, boom, boom, boom. They just pull like a bulldog. Beautiful walleye on one of Rapala's line extensions, the Mavrik. But an extension on the Mavrik. We'll get her back.
You know, shape is always a factor in baits. And everybody that fishes a lot knows minnow shape, long, skinny minnow type baits catch about every kind of fish that swims. Yeah, you know, and walleyes in particular have a passion for a long, skinny bait because all of the different forage options that they have. It's one of their favorite shapes. And there's so many things you could do walleye fishing, yeah, you know, with that style of bait. This is a new bait that we got on for Rapala, and it's like Dan said, it's an extension. Yeah, you know, and it's a Mavrik down deep. And these fish, we're seeing some fish along the side here in 15 to 18, occasional 20, and I know they're walleyes. We were here a couple of days. We were really catching a lot of walleyes, giving this bait its test. Yeah, you know, and a lot of these lakes like we're on here, they'll suspend a little bit off of these points. You know, trolling, any kind of trolling, is a mainstay in the walleye world. I guess you could call it what we're doing here on some of these breaks, contour trolling. You know, it's just the opposite of board pulling or lead core when they go out open. A lot of these fish are right on that break line between 12 and 20 right now, and contour trolling like this, and some casting, intermittent. We get some casting. We're doing a little of each. I'm casting because I'm in the front and Dan's dragging off the back. However, he's catching more fish than I am. I'm getting occasional good smallmouth, but fun way to cover. Boy, you can cover a lot of water jerk trolling like this. And there's times, many, many, many times where it's tough to beat it.
You know, with a lot of jerk baits, a friend of mine used to call them 50-50 baits when we'd fish for smallmouth, because 50% of the time you'd catch the fish, 50% of the time the fish would jump in. And that was just because of the nature of the hooks, the baits, weight, and it would just flop all over the place. But with this Precision Extreme Deep Mavrik, that's a mouthful, these hooks are so needle sharp, it's no longer a 50-50 bait. It's like closer to 90-10. I mean, when the fish, all it has to do is breathe on these baits and they get stuck. You know, yesterday, for a couple hours, Emily, who's behind the camera, Al, and I got onto this program, jerk trolling or contour trolling like this. And the interesting thing was we caught a bunch of fish, but we weren't necessarily, you're not going like this, jerking the jerk bait like you would for smallmouth. For walleyes, it's more of a subtle shuffle. It's like this. You go like that, and let that bait come back. And the walleyes like that presentation more than a real aggressive presentation. And sometimes with these baits, whether it's this or a husky jerk or something, you don't even need to do anything with it. You let the bait do the work for you. Are you seeing those fish on live or no?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just seeing there's probably half of, there's another one I just seen now. There's some scattered in here.
You figure we're in about 13 where those fish
I had
are
them
hitting?
12 to 14.
Yeah. Boy, that bait's
I'm
about perfect
coming,
for
I'm
12
just
to
coming
14
in at
foot of
different...
water. That bait's like, that's right in the zone, I would think.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be perfect for this. Got him.
Yeah! Dun 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 dun. Right when you called it, too, you said it's a good-looking stretch
Good looking
down here.
water.
Yeah, it's real common to catch a wide variety of fish when you're doing this. You'll catch a smallmouth, anything that's out here roaming around. And a lot of times, people are fishing where their boat is and a cast length to shore. And a lot of times, fish are where the boat is and behind them. You know what I mean? So you're not fishing the fish. You need to go out that extra boat length, and you start jerk trolling like this, and you get those baits into depth, and now you're fishing the fish.
This one?
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it.
It's a good way too to see the lake and see structure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You put the pedal to the metal, let the good times roll.
Yeah.
As they say.
Boy, she's got clout. She's really strong. She's not a real monster, but boy, she's tough.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. I thought you were bigger than that fish, but.
You know, Lori Rapala, the patriarch of the Rapala legacy, had it right. He designed a minnow bait, like the minnow style baits that we have today, and he designed that thing for trolling, basically. And he would row in his canoe and troll with these baits, and it had this sexy action that the fish just could not deny. And that was the genesis that birthed all of these other baits that came down the line, from the X-Rap to the Mavrik to all of them. That's where everything started from there, and then it's just exploded.
Just a so-so, but for a fish this size, I thought she was much, much bigger. She was one tough sucker, but there was a bunch of them in there, so we will work our way back. You know, you got a day like this, flat, calm, you know, clear water. These walleyes can sometimes get a little bit tough. Yeah, you know, and sometimes the best way you can catch them is covering a lot of water fast. You know, in this case, like I said, we're contour trolling.
You know, in angling, a lot of times it's efficiency, and when it comes to getting a bait down to depth and working, trolling is tough to beat. I mean, the bait's back there, it's always in the strike zone. And when Al's on the quest up there running it, the bait's always working, you know? So you can't do this by casting in a lot of situations. The bait comes down, it's in the strike zone, then it comes right back up. You got a limited window of time, and that bait's actually performing at its peak.
Yep,
There we go, big guy. Yeah, big guy. To be truly efficient as an angler, you need to have equipment you can rely on day in and day out. For over 90 years, Minn Kota has been leading the charge with forward thinking. The new Ultrex Quest is a prime example of that. This brushless motor uses a circuit board to control the power to the magnet, reducing heat, spark wear, and tear. What does that all mean? Up to 30% longer runtime on a single charge, and up to 50% greater torque, which offers more precise control in wind, waves, and the ability to shred weeds more effectively. It has a redesigned and upgraded mount that is rock solid. The carbon fiber infused shaft and updated propeller fit like a hand in glove for this contour trolling. It has a new lift assist assembly for getting the motor in and out of the water effortlessly. Now, there are many other features that this Quest has for different fishing applications, but one thing I gotta say, this troll motor is a real workhorse, built to handle anything you throw at it and the power to back it up.
Feels like a good one. Good fish. Good fish. Good one.
Good job, my man.
This long line trolling, it is so precise. Yeah, you know, you're right on the money when you're fishing shallow water break lines like this. It's a big fish.
Yeah. You know, the other thing to mention too about like this type of fishing, you know, when the weather is brutal and the wind and waves are pounding, this can be really effective as these fish get pushed up on these types of structures, and your boat control is all over the place if you're trying to hold with the trolling motor. You know, you're fighting it, your line's getting over here, it's cast all over the place. You can just you can either put, like on this boat here, we've got the little kicker, or else like with this Quest, I mean, it's got enough horsepower, it will drive right through that stuff. So weather can be a intimidating thing sometimes, but it can play to your advantage too.
Don't let it roll in the net.
Okay, I'm not.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Wow.
I'm gonna get her off real quick. I might need you, Dan,
magnum. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh man. This is the kind of fish we're talking about. This is probably a 30-incher, give or take a little bit, but a beautiful fish. Anywhere in the country, even the Great Lakes. Look at that. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, what a catch. Go, baby, I want you back in. There she goes.
You can see on my Hummingbird here the types of structure that we're fishing for doing this contour trolling. And you'll see that there's long passes where you can get the boat up to speed, get your baits working, and maximize the effectiveness of those baits at depth. You know what I mean? If you were to go into a really tight around an island, it's just not as effective because you know what I mean, you're chasing your own tail all the time. So you want to look for structures like this where you get a lot of time to work the whole thing. You know, yesterday when we got onto this program, we were done doing what we were supposed to do. We shot another show and we were just horsing around, and we started doing this, and we thought, hey, let's go out tomorrow and shoot this piece for real. And yesterday, the #1 bait was the X-Wrap. Well, hands down caught the most fish. We caught a ton of fish doing the same program yesterday. And today, Al's been catching more fish a little bit deeper. So every day you want to kind of mix up these baits if you're doing this type of operation, and you'll see one outshine the other. So here's Al's box of the Deep Mavrik 110. Look at, these are the colors that they got on some of these baits, and boy, are they beautiful. And the interesting thing about this jerkbait is when you twitch it, it'll rip along and then it goes nose down like that. And that is a different profile than a lot of other jerkbaits. Some of the jerkbaits stop and then they rise, nose up. Some of the jerkbaits stop and then they dive nose down. And then you got baits like the X-Wrap where it just stops and stays horizontal in the water column. These baits like this come, rip in, and they go nose down like that, butt up. And that is something different that these fish have not seen.
Got him.
Got another one.
Yeah.
All right. I'm officially putting on a Mavrik Deep. It's convinced me. You know, almost all of Rapala's lures can be trolled, and they all have a time and a place when they're the most effective. And right now I'm fishing with the traditional X-Wrap, orange in color, one of my favorites. And Al has that Mavrik Deep out here. And it works perfect on this break because I'm in a little bit shallower, he's covering a little bit deeper off that break. So every bait has a time and place on the depth that you're fishing.
The trolling is popular in the walleye world for a long, long time. You know, but there truly is not a lot of people contour trolling with jerkbaits like this.
And
you
it's
know,
one of the oldest deals.
And yeah, you rarely see it. Rarely see it.
Here he comes.
Here she be.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Aren't they pretty?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you, boy. Those hooks, you get those fish, you got them. You got them.
Huh? Look at that.
Mavrik Deep.
Mavrik, my new favorite walleye bait.
Oh, I'm putting one of those back on.
I've been killing them on. Hand me that players down there, Dan.
Yeah, but you do have to try a couple different baits because they could be on that X-Wrap hot and he could be fishing below the fish, so you never know.
Yeah, we just gotta, look at that. I gotta show you my new favorite color. Look at the Mavrik, by the way. they have come out with some magnificent walleye colors on this bait. I mean, the colors are, you look at it and say, which one do I put on?
Yeah.
You know, did a phenomenal job on color, and the more we're seeing these days and talking to fishermen all over the country, the more we're beginning to learn how important, you know, color is. And in the world of walleyes, color has always been a big deal, always. Let's talk a little bit about rod, reel, lure, and line. Well, I'm in a perfect position to do it. Oh, let me stretch my leg out a little bit. We're using the same rods, reel, and line we use when we're throwing jigs, you know, in jig and wraps, blade baits, you know, any hair jigs, it's just the same rod that we're trolling with. This is the St. Croix Avid series, and one of our favorite rods. Medium power, fast action, 7 foot. Our reel is a Daiwa Tatula LT3000XH, and the combination is just deadly. We got 10-pound Suffix braid on it, and about a 5-6 Suffix fluorocarbon leader, and you're in business no matter what kind of walleye fishing you're doing with a spinning rod.
One thing that you're going to want to do when you're doing this, make sure you have your drag backed off a little bit, because when those fish hit that bait, they're like a freight train, they're coming at it. And we got braid on here, and it doesn't take a lot to get those hooks to penetrate. So back your drag off a little bit, you're not gonna lose some fish.
Ooh, that one will bite right there.
See
We're
that?
gonna go right through him, see him?
Yeah, I'm watching the live on the front. I'm watching exactly what he's seeing. He's seeing a lot of these fish scanning around. Just
oh yeah.
Voop, 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 voop,
They're
voop,
they're
looking,
in and out.
Right
There's
through 'em.
anywhere from 12 to 16. I haven't went any deeper. Got him.
Yeah.
And that's
Hero.
what we need too. See that rod tip? You'll see that walleye. When you see that rod tip go like this, that's a big walleye shaking his head.
The interesting thing about these crankbaits is pound for pound, Al, wouldn't you say they produce bigger fish?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When
overall.
when a fish hits these baits, it's, you know, you got something of substance.
Like this one I got here.
Nice and easy.
It's so much fun. I love doing this. I love catching big walleyes, number one. And I like it when I'm working the rod and reel to catch them.
Oh yeah, ooh, big,
Monster.
big one. I'm gonna take him. Yes! Success! Yeah,
Put that
look at
sucker
that.
in here.
Oh, there you go.
Look
Okay,
at that.
let me get all this
Whoa,
stuff
whoa,
out of the
whoa.
way.
I got it spot locked in. Dan,
Okay.
if you could get that out of there for
You
me.
got it.
Look at that baby. We've caught a number of really big fish jerk trolling, and what a fun way to do it. What a fun way to do it. I'm just gonna admire this fish before we go in and get something to eat. And look at her, end of a perfect day. So much fun. Look at that, so much fun. Hey, if you're a person that believes in the power of prayer like I do, there's times that you have to wonder, God, are you really listening to me today? I wonder, am I getting your attention? There's a scripture, I want to read a couple of them to you, that address why, often the number one reason actually why prayers are not answered. Does that get your attention? Let me read them to you. There's a number of reasons, but this is the most important reason. It's called unforgiveness. Yep, unforgiveness. In Mark 11, 24, 25, and 26, here we go. Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them. And whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive him, that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father in heaven forgive your transgressions. That's strong stuff, man. And the power of forgiveness. Everybody's got somebody or some time or some situation in their life that you were rubbed wrong. Yeah, you know, you were offended. And it was difficult to forgive that person. I had some of those situations. It took me years in one particular case. And I'm so glad it's behind me. But unforgiveness, check your heart. If you're not getting the prayers answered the way you really believe God should be answering them, check the unforgiveness box. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, have a good fishing season. See you on the water.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride. This segment is brought to you by Wavy Label Eyewear. Backed by a lifetime warranty, we see what others don't.
We are loaded for bear. We got
You know,
pikes.
there's so many different ways to fish for walleye. Dependability and efficiency.
Simple, fast, and easy.
The best rods on the planet. They like to eat when you're throwing the right thing.
You don't have all bluebird flat calm days.
Just a perfect eating size fish. See, that's what I'm talking about, these Daiwa drags.
We got walleye stuff, we got crappie stuff, we got pike stuff.
This boat is rigged up about as nice.
Easy to use, and it flat out works.
It's a must-have when you're talking about big waves. Well, these trout are so darn tough.
Incredible 11-year warranty.
So that was on a number 8 Shad Rap.
Your style of boat control is really key.
One that was there from the very beginning.
You want to be able to see in the water. The adventure begins.